I love this. Fallout 4. I love this. I'm going to see if I can adjust a little bit. I know. I'm not that cool. No, this doesn't work. I can't. That's true. Well, you might think I'm cool, but you're the world. That's true. Who isn't? I need to. I feel like I just fucked that up. Whatever. No one cares. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, how should I do this? Should I be on the go or should I sit down? Walking through the city. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. I love that. I love the 8-bit. Wow, you're a nerd. Oh, wow. Honestly, there's one thing I wish I was better at, and it is like Smash Brothers or like any fighting game at all. Yeah. I'm terrible. Yeah. 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 That's why you have to use Kirby or someone with wings or something. But play me on Call of Duty, man. I own my territory there. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nobody Loves You with the amazing Ash Knowlton. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
And Katana, thanks for the bits. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Ash, I love you. I think you're incredible. I've known you for several years now. But no, let's tell everybody who you are and how did we meet?
Well, I'm a sound mixer. I do post and production sound. And so we met on the set of Bennett Tarran's film, 3 Pregnant Men, which is a mockumentary about 3 pregnant men science projects. And
pretty straightforward. The title kind of says exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we specifically, you were there and we had a few conversations, but I didn't actually meet you until I don't know why. I brought a Ouija board. We stayed in some like random place in upstate so we could film this movie. And I brought a Ouija board, and me and my friend Crystal and JT, we went to like, what is it, George Washington's?
Yes,
like,
we were. It was like
a
Revolutionary War barn where they had actually like captured and killed a Confederate soldier. I have no idea why we were in this area. It was part of the filming, but it had nothing to do with the film. You know, it was totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had said to me, "Oh, I have this Ouija board," and I was like, "Well, we're not in the middle of shooting a film. We should stay up tonight and go use that."
Yeah, I think we were like 2 days away from like wrapping. So it was like we were still in filming. Like we should have been filming 12-hour days. Yeah. I don't know if we ever made contact.
Nobody does. It's a Ouija board. It like, you know, anybody who is
I'm like, you moved it.
You moved it. And if you're messing with a Ouija board, for those in the audience or people listening in the podcast, like, yeah, be careful. Definitely research the rules because we don't know. And I remember getting like the chills. I remember you saying that was like,
I won't do it again. And it wasn't that set, but the next set, I went on another feature film that was like later in the year. It was like, we did that in like June or July. And so I went on a film in like October, and those like woods, I'm a huge nerd about this stuff. And I don't like ask for it. I guess I did ask for it.
You
with the Ouija board.
specifically asked for it with a Ouija board.
I guess that's what the whole intention is. But like from those woods, like, I brought back something crazy to my house, and like, no, I'll never do it again.
Did you do the white candle thing and to try to ask it to leave and all this?
I at first was just like, I'm crazy. Of course this would happen to me. And then I really didn't take it seriously, but it was going on for like a month hard, and like crazy shit was happening. So then I was like, all right, I gotta take this seriously. I ended up getting like scratches on me at one point. So I was like, I'll take this seriously. And then like, we went through the whole like saging.
You got scratches on you?
Bro, it like went in like my dreams. Like, and then
Possibly.
Like my partner, oh God, like such a long story. I don't know if that's for this.
We're talking about this right now. This is what's happening.
Okay, so this is what happened. My partner and I had met my partner on that feature film, and she's just the most amazing person ever. So we actually were together for a few months, while this was all happening. It was like really wild. And she remembers, like, in my dreams, I remember something, but she remembers like waking up and there's like a figure standing over our bed with like no face, like wet hair, and like just like staring at, and she was scared, but she wasn't like, it's gonna do anything to me. She was like, for some reason she thought it would do something to me, Ash.
Yeah, because it was attached to you.
So then I guess I like, my arm started like raising up, and she like hit it down. I don't know. It was just so crazy. So that's when we took it seriously. So I was like, we see it. It's touching me. It's like affecting me. So
right. When you were semi-possessed, she was like, oh, maybe we should.
Yeah. So no, never again. I have the Ouija board still. And I didn't do the Ouija board at that other feature film. That's not how it attached to me, but I'm pretty sure I just like opened up some craziness.
Yeah, there's the idea that if you are open to interaction, if you're open to experience, that's all it takes. And it's one of the reasons why tattoo artists won't draw usually like a door on your chest and things like this, because they don't want you to be that open.
Yeah, and I would suggest not doing that.
Yeah, I as someone who has had like sleep paralysis his entire life, if you know what that is, like, don't mess with it unless you are ready to deal with it.
Right. Yeah, I was just like such a noob. And of course I was just like, it's the movies. That's just, but yeah, no, it's real. Don't do it.
There was a moment with, and I hope she listens to us, but one of my mother's friends, Paulette, who I consider like my coven elder. She is an amazing woman. She's a practitioner of the craft. She studies it her entire life. I was having like a trouble as a youth, and I came to her house, and she was like, come in. I was like, why? She's like, it's following you. I was like, ah! And she like threw salt down and did like the whole thing. And I was like, what are you talking? And she never really like went into detail about that. It was always just kind of abandoned. But I was like, what were you talking about? What did you see?
And I don't think you want to know. Nope. I think like part of it is like not knowing, like, because I remember telling my partner at that time, like, she's still my partner, but I remember telling her then, like, can you just draw it for me? And she was like, no, I'm
No,
not going to draw it for
you
you.
don't want to know. Is a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been fun, but you're here for a reason. Let's talk about what's on your shirt, where you are, because before we started the interview, you told me, "Oh, this is the spa I built in a sound studio," which is
Yeah.
incredible. Please tell me, this is Spilt Milk Sounds, correct?
Spilt milk sounds. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, this is a COVID baby, I think. It's just like I was transitioning from a studio that I was working with, a little boutique studio, and all just dudes, So my
Mm.
main goal was to like leave, get my own setup. So during COVID, got this like really nice, like 3-bedroom apartment, really big space, and both me and my partner have studio spaces in here. And yeah, built out this studio so I could do all the post work in here. We have like a vocal booth too, but I'm not gonna fuck with my
Yeah.
setup here because I won't get it back.
Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, so like built this sound studio so that I can do what I want to do with it. I can run it the way I want to run it.
So
Yeah.
you're hitting on like a couple of big things here that I want to unpack, and one of them is our industry, and I think in a lot of industries it's the same way, are very male driven. They're very patriarchal. How do you keep your project or your company different? How, like, what are the rules you put in place for inclusion? I think, it's an amazing thing that you own it. Obviously, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Is female owned businesses, female controlled businesses.
Yeah.
But what do you do after that? Like, how do you keep it inclusive to also still make it functional?
Yeah, I think, this is unlike any other studio, so it's not like I'm hiring people. So I'm creating which to answer your question, I'm not hiring people is the number one thing. So this is a big collaboration of people who are interested in being here, but specifically, not to leave people out, but to really focus on the people who have been unrepresented or underrepresented in our
Mm-hmm.
community. So non-binary, women identifying folks working in sound, that is unheard of. I don't know. I know that there's one production company, I think it's like Sound Girls or something like that. They're not really a production company though, so I don't really know fully what they do. I haven't done much research on them. But every studio I look at, major in, any city, is run by like 3 dudes. And the women all have these like production roles of like managerial tasks, running the studio, client facing type stuff. But when it comes to the hands-on work, it's dudes.
Which, let's let the people know that's where the money is, isn't it? The hands-on is where the dollars are.
Well, that's where, if you're in sound, you don't choose this job. Otherwise, why aren't you an accountant? So
Sure.
If you choose this life, if you choose, you want film, there are women who love production and this, that, and the other, but I'm talking about women and non-binary folks who love sound. Why you want to be creative. That's why you're here.
Right.
You want to be on set. You want to be making the friends. You want to be on the films. You want to be a part of, like, I don't know, any big film that's going to come out in the next 10 years. You want to be a part of that.
So would you say, and feel free to be totally honest here, that you were prevented from doing that at your previous studio? And do you think it was because you were female? Because I know, I personally, I have been to that studio. I know the one you're talking about. We don't have to name it. But I did get the sense that you were being held back. And I believe I said that to you at one point where it was just like, what is going on here?
It's hard to say. I guess I would need a therapist to help me with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't, it's hard to say because I do know, generally a no. If you ask a question, the answer is no. It could be the deciding point, especially for people who already feel repressed in a certain way. So anyone who's like struggling, with their identity in this world, which could be so many people. But I guess needless to say, if you're not a cis white male, you're having some issues with society. And if you get a no, when you're like, hey, I want to be a part of this thing, and they say no, that could be the end of your career. That could be the end of your trajectory of where your goals were, you know, it could just stunt you so much.
Because it's very like subtle gatekeeping, right? It's very casual gatekeeping.
Yeah, I don't want to say they prevented me because that's just not who I am. So it's like, oh, you're putting up a hurdle, I'm moving past it. But I do know, though, it would have stopped a lot of people. I am aware of that, as you know, as much as I can be. Because
it didn't stop you. You leapfrogged it. You were just like, all right, if you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to go take it.
I'm going to go get it.
Yeah, which you should be so proud of yourself. I respect you so much for doing that. It's one of the things I love so much about you is that you're like, I'm just going to do it. Like, you're not going to tell me no.
Yeah. And I think it, you know, a big part of that studio too is, and you know, not to say that, because we want to do something similar here with Spilt Milk Sounds, is taking those, there is no gig I want to say no to. But there are certain gigs that I can't take anymore financially because it just doesn't serve me. You know, there are these low paying gigs or free gigs that I was doing a lot. And, you know, having, you know, the one thing that studio was allowed me to do, well, I don't know if they allowed me. I just took their gear. And I know that's so shitty to say.
It's not.
It's like, oh, you're a thief. But it's like, well, you're not letting me. So here at Spilt Milk Sounds, you know, we always want to start with, okay, I hear what you want to do. And if it's my name that you're going out and representing, if it's this company that you're going out and representing, what can I do to make sure that you're set up for success? And I think that that's different.
Huge.
Yeah.
And let's just be very clear to the audience. You borrowed equipment for these projects. And
I don't still have it.
Yeah, you didn't steal. I just want everyone to know that I'm not advocating for piracy, but I am advocating to be a pirate. It is okay to commandeer something as long as you have the intention of returning it. And I'm using the word intention there.
My intention was never to, like, I honestly, like, if you had asked me 2 years ago, you know, what was my intention? It was to build out that studio with them.
Yes.
But it was just not going to happen. And especially with COVID and the shutdown, you can really start feeling where the rifts are. These flags get larger and larger, and now they're just big ass banners in your way. And it's just like, you know, I needed to jump. And so thank you, COVID.
Right? For all the horrible things. Okay. For all the horrible things that it did. The silver lining here for you is, you know, it gave you the opportunity to start your own company, which huge. I love it, and I love what you're doing. And the word you used is collaboration. And I think that word is lost on so many people, especially in our field, in our creative world. And I think that will be what sets you up for success, which kudos to you. What's the future of Spilt Milk Sounds? Like, where are you taking this now that you have it?
Well, right now it's pretty small. It's just, you know, 3 of us hanging out and taking on the work that we can. And it really is only one mixing station and one booth, all in the same room. So you can't really do multiple things at once. So I guess the trajectory, and hopefully we can do this in the next year, either save or get an investment. Because I do think that getting an investment from someone else would just be a huge, like, leapfrog, you know, situation where I can now, we have the tools of success. Because I think that there are certain aesthetics people are looking for when choosing studios, and I want to be equipped. We can do it, but we can't do it with the space that we have, and it does take a lot of money. So hopefully we can move quickly on that and put it out there and get a shark. Maybe we'll go in Shark Tank.
I mean, big brain, big business moves is investment. That's next steps. If you really want to succeed, loans are terrible.
Yeah.
Investment is always the way to go. And truthfully, all you have to do is be profitable. As long as your
Right.
company is making profit and you show that to an investor and you say, hey, your money will buy you this much and we're promising a return. It's not a donation, it's not a loan, it's not like a gift. It's, you are investing in me. I believe in me. Let me
Right.
prove to you that I'll make you money. And I think that's a
Right.
great idea.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
you get 100,000. I hope you get $1 million.
I was gonna say, I hope we get like at least, I don't want to put a number to it because I really don't think that the number, it is small baby steps to get, where we need to go. And what we have right now is perfectly adequate. So yeah, but next steps is definitely bigger, better. Let's take on these big studios. These studios have like 3 guys but they have like 1,400 people working for them running their studios. It's a huge space and they get all of the big Hollywood films. And how do you compete with that in this, we're going to try.
I think this is something, just to wind back a little bit, is for all artists who are starting out and when you're trying to attack the big companies, the big sharks, we're forced to take on these kind of like scrap meal projects, the low budgets, the no budgets. And I heard you say it. At what point does that no longer serve you? Where is it for you? Where is that line where it's like, okay, I've done enough of these to show I can do it. Now I'm only accepting the money.
That doesn't I'm not saying that it should or shouldn't happen for other people, but that does not happen with me. I'm still taking 3 projects. And I'm still taking low budget projects because knowing what it takes to be an indie filmmaker, you just sometimes don't have the budget, but you will. And it is about cultivating these relationships and making sure that when they hit their peak, you're there with them and making sure that we all are like, peaking out together. Is
Yeah,
weird
we're
to say?
growing together. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I have friends where we just like back and forth are always helping each other. And one day, hopefully soon, COVID really put a nail in that for her. But she's going to be a network director. I mean, we could be on, working together on these network shows, and just they're just, I can't limit someone to where they are right now. So to say I won't work on your project for free if I see worth in it is so silly. So silly.
It's such an amazing thing about our job is that, people are the investment for us. Relationships are the investment for us. And I say it to people all the time, they'll be like, hey man, like how much are you, and it's like, I'm expensive. I'll tell people flat out, like, I'm expensive, but I will work with you. I will help you because I believe in what you're doing. I believe in your ability. I understand you only have $10,000 right now. Let me help you get more. Let me cut my paycheck to help you.
Do we need to put into context what $10,000 means for a film?
Please, yeah.
Okay. Start to finish, $10,000.
It's like one day. In my opinion, it's not even a full day in editing.
That's not it's not even post.
It's insane.
And especially now with COVID, you have to pay for everyone to get not vaccinated,
tested.
Tested.
Yeah.
You have to pay for everyone to get tested. You have to, the food, all of it. I mean, I did a short film, and we shot for 2 days, but it was like a 3-day thing. $15,000, which I wish we had more.
That's rough.
And that wasn't even post.
Yeah, that's rough. Because when people approach me about a project, I give them the number 12,000. They're like, "Oh, nice." I'm like, "That's per day," and that really doesn't cover post. It the 12,000 leaks into post. That's why I put the extra $2,000 there per day, though. So if you have a 15-page script, that's 3 days theoretically, 4 probably. Yeah. We're looking at $48,000 to shoot your film and get it out. Because I'm also about distribution and the numbers escalate quickly.
Right, and then it doesn't stop after post. Now going through all the festival submissions, what are they, $30, $40
easily
every time you submit?
And then at these festivals, you're trying to get distribution. Okay, so now you're hiring a producer rep. That producer rep wants about 5,000, and they have what's called a $15,000 ceiling cap of expenses, which could
Right.
be coffee or steaks. And so,
Drinks. I mean, but isn't that so important?
It is.
They need to, like, bring someone to drinks.
That's a big deal.
I mean, how many jobs have you landed over drinks? Like,
I don't want to say all of them, but all
all of them. Yeah, my mom's like, why do you drink so much? Not that I'm like, always glug, 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 but it's like you're out every night, or you were anyway. And it's like, because I'm working. What do you mean?
I had to start learning the trick, and this is an honest trick, and now I'm outing myself right now, but I would get a Diet Coke with nothing in it.
Oh.
And I would be dealing people at a bar sober as a goose. And I would buy people beer. I would buy the room beer and get 2 jobs out of it, because I'm just like, I'm straight to the dome. Like, nothing's happening up here. I'm clean and clear.
Well, how straight are you, and how clean and clear are you on Diet Coke? I drove to Miami. I drove to Miami on like a 2-liter of Diet Coke only, straight from New York to Miami. It was like it ended up being like 32 hours or something. Only on Diet Coke. Maybe a little Adderall.
And only a tiny bit of additional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zooming back in, we're talking about festivals. I love everything you're doing with Spilt Milk Sounds. And I think it's just such a cool thing that you have this safe space for woman identifying, non-binary. Like, congratulations on getting off the ground. But one of the big things that I know you for is liminal. I watched this movie and lost it. I had no idea. This is your directorial debut, am I correct?
Yeah, are you fucking with me right now?
No, knocked it out of the park. I am not the person to sit here and inflate your ego. Like, I love this movie. You killed it. Yeah. Can you tell us more about the process of it? Because for those of you who obviously can't see it right now, it's a oneer, essentially. It is essentially a stitched oneer. It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, where do we start? Well, I guess I'll start with like what liminal is about.
Yes.
And it's about media-induced agoraphobia. Can anyone relate?
And agoraphobia, can you define that? Because I still need it defined.
Agoraphobia is a mental health issue, and it is basically your fear, or this person's fear of the unknown outside of their safe space. So whatever safe space they've created for themselves, I mean, what could be on the other side, of your door? If your safe space is your apartment, just knowing all of the terrible things that could happen to you after you leave. That's agoraphobia. And then, well, I guess letting that stunt you and not letting you like leave the house. It keeps you locked in.
That's when it becomes a condition. Because I think we all have the fear of what's on the other side of that door. And agoraphobia is the condition that prevents you from even opening it.
Right.
Yeah. And so Liminal explores a single character, essentially, in her morning routine, sort of dealing with her agoraphobia. Is that correct?
Yeah, agoraphobia, though, but specifically media-induced.
Okay.
I mean, honest to God, if nobody ever opens their phone or looks at the news again, I bet you we'd all be really happy. But there's this, like, really this I don't know if it's voyeurism or it's just the fear, the wanting to know. Maybe it's a little bit of FOMO. I don't know, but it's like we want to know what's happening. You get like an alert on your phone. You have to turn on the TV. You have to know what's going on. You have to stay up to date, and really receiving all of that information, for her anyway, for this character in this film, really just like starts derailing her morning.
Go ahead. I like to equate it to, why do we slow down at car accidents? Yeah. There's no reason. Speed up. Get away from this, but we always slow down and look, and it's like, what do we gain from this? I say nothing. You get nothing from looking at it, and the
now you know.
Okay.
so I think that's the reason why we do it, even when it comes to like, the New York Times. Why did I sign up for the New York Times? Every morning I get a message that's like, here's the things you need to know. Literally, it's like, here's the things you need to know to start your day, is what the notification says. And it's like, someone blew something up, someone's dead, like, the world is in chaos. Like, why do I need to know this to start my day? But I continue to sign up and I continue to look.
I was a fool, and I started getting like very, very political, right? And so I signed up for the U.S. government's mailing list. So every day I get 10 updates from the top of our government. It's like, this country just bombed this country. And it's like, why have I done this? Why do I need this information? Who assassinated who? Oh my God.
Like, it doesn't affect anything in my life except for my mental health.
At all.
It does not change anything that I do, and it doesn't affect most people. Even the voting for your president doesn't really affect people, your day to day as much. It's just like, now your mental health is being chipped away at.
There's a sphere of influence that you have. And I think the moment you attempt to interact with anything outside of your control, outside of your sphere of influence, it brings unhappiness because you can't. And that's what becomes so frustrating. And coming back to Liminal, it sounds so good. I think if there's any testimony to your ability as an artist, the sound of that movie is fantastic.
Thank you.
And it's almost all it is, because it's first person, which is something we haven't even told the audience yet. This is a first person point of view, non-VR experience. This is cinematic. I as a filmmaker, I'm like, there are moments I was like, how did she do this? It's so cool.
Mirror.
Yeah, the mirror is a big one. The mirror is a big one, which
That's where our money went.
Oh, really?
They're like, oh, bitch, you want a trick mirror shot? Well, that's going to be like $6,000.
Yeah, it's
hard.
And
I'm like, okay, let's do it.
It's hard, but you did it seamlessly. And I think because it is first person, so much of the movie is actually made in sound design. Can you talk to us about what that process is like? How you get inside the head of somebody who's looking that sound probably didn't come diegetically, correct? Like, you had to re-record a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, also, unfortunately, I don't know why I did this, because I am a sound person. So, like, when we recorded, I was like, we don't need sound. Like, when we were filming, we were like, we don't need sound. Let's just not. And I'll Foley all the rest of this stuff later, because I had every intention of doing my own post-production sound. So, but I don't know why I did that. Like, we could have used something. Like the little movements of her, like, touching coffee.
Yeah.
Like, things that I had to recreate because we didn't record it on set. I don't know why I did that. I won't do that again.
It's because it was your first time directing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because you're a noob.
We've all made that mistake, first time directors, where it's like, oh, I'll do it in post. And then you get the post, you're like, make a time machine. Let's
go back. Yeah. But I think with Liminal, a short film, it's 6 minutes in length, so it's not that long. It's kind of sweet and tiny and easy to digest. Well, I don't know if it's easy to digest. It's just a short enough period of time, I think, to keep us in that headspace. But the post-production sound would have normally taken me a couple of weeks, maybe, but this thing took me like a year. I literally had this project for over a year sitting on my computer, and I was just like tossing and turning, and then COVID happened, and then I was like, okay, cool, I guess I'll start. And then I'm like, oh, I hate this. And eventually it ended up happening. I don't know what
I messaged you about this project for a while. I know specifically. I was like, hey, where can I see a cut?
Never.
I was so excited about it, because I was so excited to see you stepping into your element as a leader, as a director, and really doing what I know you can do. And the end result is just It's immaculate. It is such a cool film. I cannot wait for film festivals to see it, and then ultimately, we'll release it to the public. It's going to be a great thing for you.
You were the producer. I don't think people know you're one of the producers on the project.
Yeah, I wanted to help you, and like this was one of those things where I was like, how can I help? Money is really not an issue here. We don't need to talk about that, right?
I didn't pay you.
Yeah, no, this was all I wanted to help you. It was like, I want to help you make this movie. I know you're going places. How can we get this thing off the ground? Which I think we have to be better about that when it's our friends, when it's our network, when it's people we're trying to build a relationship with. It shouldn't always be about making a dollar.
Right.
Especially with short films, which notoriously don't make a lot of money in the end anyways.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like narrative projects, shame on me for putting a price on it because, I'm not doing studio big Paramount projects yet. So why would I say no to like $500 on this really cool project?
Right.
But when it comes to like commercial stuff, like Condé Nast or like Vogue or something, like, no, you can pay me.
I've seen your line item budget before. It was $1 million. So I'm pretty sure.
You spent $3,000 on Crafty, on like snacks.
Yeah.
So I know you can pay me.
Just so you know, my rate's $2,000 a day. I just throwing it out there.
Just saying. Yeah.
So you're on your way to festivals, right? What is that like for somebody who's maybe never done the short film route or has never done the festival route? What is this experience like? Taking your project, your baby is born, it's walking and talking. How do you set it off into the world?
Well, I'm learning that now. It's a totally third part of this project. It's like you have your principal, which is like I guess there's like 4 steps. You have the planning,
right,
and then you have principal, filming. You're filming your project. You're shooting what you had planned. Then you're in post-production and tying up all the loose ends with editing and sound and color and VFX if you need it or whatever you need. And then it's festival submissions, which I don't ever want to do again. I want to hire someone to do this because there's so many people who are very qualified to do this. And for me, this has just been very difficult. You have to now, I'm in the process of like, what festivals do I really want to get into? Okay, you want to get into Toronto. Well, Toronto International Film Festival needs a world premiere from you. And that disqualifies you from other film festivals. So you will never be able to submit to other film festivals if you submit to Toronto and you get into Toronto.
It's a lot.
It's all gambling.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And then it's a lot of money as well.
I think this is why, producers reps and film reps exist, is because this is their bread and butter. They love the chucking and jive and they love the late night drinks and all this. Yeah. And they know all the tiptoeing of, all right, I can submit to this person and this person. And if they accept it, we'll give them the world premiere and we'll pull from this festival. Like, they know the tricks.
Right. Like if I'm going to make a comedy movie and I get Jim Gaffigan to go to a festival and promote it, not that he would, I'm just saying, like, if he's the executive producer on the project, now people are looking at this project as like, oh, there's like a very well-known comedian. This must be a funny project. So like that works the same way when you have producers going to film festivals, they're vouching for you. It's just like music. It's like everything.
Yeah, it is the business part of film that I think so many of our friends and colleagues don't like. They don't understand it. Because I always tell people, truthfully, in school you're taught there's pre-production, principal, and post.
Right.
But in reality, there's research and development, which is where your fundraising happens.
Yeah.
There's pre-production, there's principal, there's post, and then there's distribution.
Right.
And so distribution should have started in research and development. And so like they really, right. And they almost never discuss this when they're showing us how to make a movie. And that's how you make money. And like, that's what always kind of irked me when I got into the business. It's like, why did no one ever tell me about this?
What do they even teach you? I didn't go. And every time I talk to somebody, they like, I didn't go to film school or anything like that. I really don't think they teach you sorry, I know that film school is really beneficial to some people, but honestly, they're not even teaching you the relationships part of it all, where like creating a good relationship with people is actually how you're going to get your next job. They teach you this technical stuff, but if you're a technical I mean, what's the like myth about sound mixers? It's just like a dude with headphones on, like in the corner, just like this, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
you do a great impersonation right there,
Thank
actually.
you. I'm I am a sound mixer. So yeah, it's just like they don't teach you that the relationships part. So like, what do they? It's just like, high school. They don't teach you about your taxes. Like, what the
Right.
hell?
We always seem to avoid the important things when we're educating people. And just
Yeah.
so, for the record, so people know, I actually never went to film school neither. I'm from
Okay.
what I like to call the school of hard knocks. You know, I fought my way up.
School YouTube.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes in my career to get to where I am.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. And that actually brings up a very important question to me that I want to ask you. In your career, has there ever been a time where you messed up because you didn't go to film school, you had to learn everything on your own? How do you bounce back from that? How do we move past the mistake and keep going? I think it's very important to tell people.
Well, it depends on what mistake you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it's a relationship mistake where you offended someone personally and it's like a producer, well, you can probably guarantee you're not going to get another job from them.
Yeah, that's so. Can we just, can we take a moment? Relationships are key. Don't talk religion, don't talk politics. Everyone above you is right and funny if you want to work for them again. Like...
Yeah, or just ignore them. Like,
Yes.
sometimes, we all have these moments where when we're on set, they're very quick shoots, and it is about building this isn't a 9 to 5 corporate job where you have weeks and years to meet somebody and get to know them. I'm on a project for one day for 12 hours while we're shooting. So I have an hour to talk to you about anything, like total through the whole day, maybe an hour. And if that day is not your day, well, that sucks. Cause like, I've been on set before where like, it just wasn't my day, man. Like my mental health was at an all-time low and I just wasn't really feeling having the conversations. And I've never been contacted by those people again.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you bounce back? I don't know, just know that about yourself and just keep going, I guess. Like it shouldn't stop you.
It shouldn't stop you.
Yeah.
But it can. And I think that's what I'm after is there some type of advice you have for yourself or for others where it's like, this isn't the only producer, like, okay, you make a mistake with this person. There are a million fish in the sea type of thing.
I also just have this like weird theory that like, if it is an off day for me, I think it's something with like planetary alignments in the moon that like I'm not the only one on this set feeling off. Mm-hmm. So I always okay, if it was an off day for me, I'm sure it was an off day for them too. And maybe not taking it so inward and just saying like, that's a situation that happened. You could always send up a follow-up email that says like, luckily for me, I'm a sound mixer. So I have the chance afterwards to send a follow-up email and send like a report to them of how were my tracks laid out? What mics did I use? This, that, and the other. And on that, I could just be like, thank you so much for having me on set. Here's the sound report. Like, let me know if, I'd love to work with you again in the future. That is probably the best thing that you can do. And I think that that's even when you have a good time on set. You should always do that.
I highly recommend setting the follow-up. I think way too often people, they get on a set, they do the thing, they're trying to be cool, and then they dip. And then as a producer, I'll sometimes just forget who you were because, you didn't make any relationship with me. Why would I hire again? And you don't want to be remembered for the guy you did this, or sorry, I apologize, the person, the man or woman on set who did the dumb thing on set. You never want to be like remembered as like the person who knocked over the C-stand and hit talent. Like that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
always be on your best behavior, as we like to say, and
Yeah.
send the follow-up email. Hey, that was
I would.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I would always send a follow up. But like I'm a huge like Irish goodbyer. Like I'll just like fucking leave at the end of the set. So it is really important though that you just it what is that thing that they say about like going to like a club or a bar or something or like a work party and like just make sure you have like 2 or 3 conversations with someone influential and that and then you can leave and they'll remember you being there the whole time. What is
I
that?
I won't say the show, but there's a guy whose name that rhymes with Tim on a corporate television show. He goes to the party in the late seasons after Steve Carell has left, and he says how you need to have 1 or 2 important conversations. You need
Yeah.
to make one joke that a superior laughs at, and then you
Yeah.
need to get in a photo. And if you do
That.
this,
Yeah.
you can bounce and no one even because they'll remember, oh yeah, Tim was there.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and I'm a huge Irish goodbyer. I'll do it in the middle of phone calls if I just if there's just a lull.
That's next level. That's
I
next
saw
level.
this crazy thing. This female influencer, she just went to airplane mode. And she goes, what it does is it shows the person on the other end that it disconnected and it's trying to reconnect. So they don't think I hung up on them. It just cancels the call. She's like, yeah, if I don't want to talk to them, I'll just hit airplane mode. just
I don't
bounce.
think I'll do that.
Oh,
Yeah, my phone calls are like far too important. I don't think I'm ever gonna do that. But like on set,
Right.
I just leave. Yeah.
I'll leave.
No, I'll have a phone call.
I will physically just slip out the back door of any party. If you invite me out to drinks, I might go to the restroom and then you'll see me tomorrow, you know? Like, saying, weren't you
Yeah.
here? I'm like, oh yeah, I just got tired. So I left.
Yeah.
What is next for you?
It's Spilt Milk Sounds, baby. That's it.
You're all in.
I mean, there's just like so there. That's just like a huge umbrella, and then there's just a bunch of like stuff that falls under that. But yeah, it's Spilt Milk Sounds. That's the next thing.
And where can people find Spilt Milk Sounds? The website's here. The Instagram's here. It's spiltmilksounds.com. Spilt period milk period sounds at Instagram. Are you anywhere else? Do you have Facebook? Do you have TikTok? Are you doing dances for everybody?
Yeah, we have Facebook, but you know that Instagram has like one picture on it. It's just like I suck at social media. We're gonna get better. Maybe that's the next step in Spilt Milk Sounds is to hire a social media marketing manager.
You heard it here first, and nobody loves you. Ash Knowlton is hiring. That's a big word these days. She is hiring a social media manager for Spilt Milk Sounds. Get in touch with her. Tell her JT Schindler sent you and that you want that job.
Sure.
One thing I love to ask people is, what is your life philosophy? If you were going to give advice to other people of how they can remain happy and just remain, I like what you like to say, in motion, like just keep going, this type of thing.
I don't know, but I know that I'm happy. And so I guess the thing that has kept me happy is just always choose the thing that makes me happy. And I never take a job just for the money. I never say yes when I want to say no. Because, you know, all of those things really do lead to the bad relationships. It leads to resentment and just ill will. And yeah, so just for me, it's just always just leading with the happy foot.
Leading with the happy foot. I love that. That's so good. And I think what's so important that you said is being able to say no. Mm-hmm. Not taking that job that you don't want to do, or not taking that date or invitation, whatever it is that you don't want to take. And I think that's really hard for some people because of FOMO, because of all these things that affect us, especially social media based
Yeah.
FOMOphobia, I think, is a word that's coming out.
Yeah, I like that.
But it is that,
Homophobia.
it's that thing of just like, no, I'm actually, I'm not fully present right now, or I don't have the bandwidth or energy to do this. I appreciate the offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is such a key thing. And I'm going to start leading every day with the happy foot. I'm going to say that to my son here in a minute. It's like, lead every day with the happy foot, because I think that's incredible.
Oh yeah, that just came out of nowhere.
Well, that's because it's important. And now it's a
It
thing.
isn't.
And it's going to be on t-shirts tomorrow. Lead with the
Sure.
happy foot.
I like that.
Spilt milk sounds, which you could have your cat leading with the happy foot. Oh my God. It all works. Can we get, I know podcasters aren't going to be able to see this, but can we just get, I'm sorry, like a nice
Well, yeah,
cat?
here's our business
That's
card.
perfect. Oh, look at that kitty.
It says Spilt Milk Sounds. Oh, I'm going the wrong way.
It's
Spilt Milk
so cute. I'm so happy. All right.
Sounds. Yeah, okay.
I have one last thing. I have loved having you on the show, and I already know that I want to have you back, especially after you get Spilt Milk Sounds moving, and we can talk about, oh, we just made a feature with so-and-so. Like, that's going to be so cool. I wish you all the best. I hope you get rich. I hope you just become one of the most influential studios in New York. I love everything that you're doing. We do like to end the show by talking to the guest about, how do you say I love you?
So how do I say I love you?
Mm-hmm.
I being present. I say I love you by being present, and I think for me, love is with physical quality time. Yeah.
That's huge.
I mean,
Yeah,
your
go.
time is worth so much money. So every moment, like, I am choosing to spend this with someone that I love, and why the hell would I spend time with people that I don't love, or respect or whatever,
Yeah, because that's not your happy foot.
That's not my happy foot. Quality time.
Quality time. Just, can I hear you say, I say I love you by being present?
I say I love you by being present.
Perfect. Ah, that's
You
so
nailed it.
good. That's so good. And so we're going to let this interview kind of tail out now. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Ash, I hope you'll stick around after I cut the feed. This has been Nobody Loves You with Ash Knowlton. Spilt Milk Sounds. Check them out. They're doing big things. They're making amazing movies. And I'll see you all on the flip side. Thank you so much for being here.